And you're very welcome to another edition of The Movie Show. Roe McDermott will be with us in just a few moments to review the George Clooney Oscar contender, The Descendents. We'll have an action-packed trailer of the week, and we'll also be taking a look at the top 5 movies at the US box office.
My friends think just because we live in Hawaii, we live in paradise. We're all just out here sipping Mai Tais, shaking our hips, and catching waves. Are they insane? Do they think we're immune to life? How can they possibly think our families are less screwed up? Our heartaches less painful?
And joining us once again in the entertainment.ie offices for The Movie Show is none other than hot press film critic Roe McDermott. Ro, people won't be surprised because you've been in every episode so far.
I just keep coming back.
But you're the best, that's why we bring you back.
Oh, or else because everyone else demanded payment.
The Descendents, George Clooney's big Oscar contender. There seems to be one every year. Alexander Payne's first movie since Sideways, which was like 7 years ago, which is kind of crazy. Awful lot of hype leading up to this one. Does it live up to the hype?
I didn't think so, and I think I'm one of the very few, to be fair. But yeah, I just didn't find Alexander Payne usually blends comedy and tragedy really, really well, and in this one I just found he didn't do it quite as effectively as usual, because the story is quite serious. I mean, it could happen.
Basically opens with George Clooney's wife been in an accident, in a boating accident right at the start of it, and then it opens up again like 20-something days later, where they're kind of dealing with it. George Clooney is dealing with raising his 2 girls, and he's also got a big property deal, like one of the biggest property deals in Hawaiian history to deal with as well. So there's a lot going on there. Yeah,
it's kind of his journey to kind of reclaim not only his heritage but his sense of being a parent, because he was never really there for his kids. And in the meantime, he also discovers that his wife, this isn't a spoiler, it's in the trailer, so it's okay, she was having an affair, so it's kind of the emotional journey. But it should be really emotionally engaging. I mean, there's a woman in a coma, for God's sake. I mean, you should be crying out the whole way through the film. But Alexander Payne, I just found all the emotional moments were kind of undermined by a little bit of kind of cheap comedy. There's always a precocious kid saying something inappropriate. There's this ridiculous Dumb and Dumber extra character who really...
This guy really bothered you.
Really bothered me. I mean, he's like a 16-year-old surfer who like laughs in the face of Alzheimer's patients, and he's redeemed.
He does get clocked in the face by Robert Forster for doing that, in fairness, and there is context to his character later on.
Even that felt a bit Laurel and Hardy. It felt really kind of cheap to me. I just didn't buy it. And also there's this Hawaiian soundtrack, which I know is meant to relate back to the heritage storyline, but it really bothered me.
But I mean, what this comes down to and what it's really been sold on, he's front and centre in the poster, in the campaign, and he's probably going to win the Oscar this year for it, is George Clooney.
Yeah.
Is he as good as everybody's saying he is?
I think he is very good in it. Personally, I think putting George Clooney in khakis and bad Hawaiian shirts and declaring him awkward dad is about as believable as putting... Yeah, and it's like Anne Hathaway in glass and frizzy hair and going, oh, she's so ugly, like, it just doesn't make sense. So I think he's better.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. He is better in Up in the Air, but it's still, I think, a pretty superb performance, one of the best of the year.
No, it is really good. I had too much hype.
Okay, what would you give it out of 5?
I give it a 3. I mean, it's a good film. Is it the best film out there? No, but then all the other Oscar nominations are pretty crap, so...
Fair enough. Well, thanks for coming in. We'll see you again next Thursday.
No worries.
Now, Ryan Reynolds should be the biggest movie star on earth at this point. The Green Lantern came and went in the summer though and didn't do as well as everybody expected. Now, you don't get much safer at the other end of the spectrum than Denzel Washington. He is still box office after all of these years, and the two star together in the action-packed thriller Safe House, which is our trailer of the week.
Who's after us and why?
I think you need to consider how your safe house was attacked in the first place. That house was a secure location. Whoever crashed it, they were invited. Someone told them, someone you know.
You're not gonna get in my head.
I am already in your head.
Tears on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Coliseum floor.
So they're working together?
Even disguised as a feast.
I think Weston's turned.
I'm not your only enemy tonight.
Yeah, the money we can't keep, but we probably spend it all because the pain ain't cheap.
You can stay blind, or you can open your eyes.
I'm taking you in.
I want you to take me in.
And now it's time to take a look at the movers and shakers. It's the top 5 of the US box office. At number 5 in its second week of release is Beauty and the Beast 3D with 8.7 million. It's now totaled 33.5 million. At number 4 is a new opening, extremely loud and incredibly close, just picked up an Oscar nomination. It's coined just over $10 million. At number 3 is last week's number 1, the Mark Wahlberg starring thriller Contraband. It's taken a further $12 million for a grand total of $45 million. At number 2 is a new opening, the George Lucas produced war movie Red Tails. It's taken $18.7 million over the weekend. And opening on top of the US box office is the 4th installment in the Underworld series, Underworld Awakening. It took $25.3 million, and the 3D might have had something to do with that. Cheers for watching the movie show. Ron McDermott will be back with us next Thursday when we'll be taking a look at the Adam Sandler star, Jack and Jill. Now, we have a competition. You could win some cinema passes if you can tell us what George Clooney was just nominated for. If you email competitions@entertainment.ie, the tickets could be yours. We'll see you next Thursday, folks.